Hello class. On the Sodexo project, the first thing I want you to do is view this video and listen to what I am about to say. For the Sodexo project, remember, you are in teams. It is 20% of your grade, and you will be making a PowerPoint presentation along with a very detailed paper at the last day of class. Well, you're not going to write the paper the last day of class, you're going to make the PowerPoint presentation which supports the paper. So since it's 20% of your grade, I honestly think that a lot of students verbalize as well, and sometimes better than they write, and vice versa. So what I'm going to ask you to do is consider that you need to relax and all take a certain part of this Sodexo project, just as when you had written your constitution. You did a SWOT analysis on your teams, so everybody on your teams have certain strengths and weaknesses, and you need to be accountable and complement each other. This is a part of strong leadership. Okay, so what you need to do is each one of you is going to represent an advisor or consultant to the Human Resources Department of Sodexo Corporate, and you are going to write your papers by following the instructions on the PowerPoint. Now, how long should the paper be? I honestly think that 5 pages, double-spaced in APA or MLA, from each member of the team will be sufficient. Now hold on. I'm not looking necessarily that you fill 5 pages. I'm looking for quality in those 5 pages. You can hand me 30 pages of junk and it means nothing. Those 5 pages have to be a result of several drafts of hard work. So everybody is accountable to everybody else. And when you look at the PowerPoints, each one of those steps you will need to take when you put your project together. The PowerPoints are very explicit of what the needs of the project are, and you'll have to choose what member of your team will do that part of the project. So for example, if someone on the team is very strong on research, these are the types of people that will be doing the contributing to the research piece of the 20 pages that you turn in. Now, that could also mean that you will do a case study analysis on that project. Alright? So, the 5 pages contributed by the researcher is going to be the supportive data that you will need putting this project together. Other 5 pages would be maybe for someone to research market share, and then the researcher can embellish on that component of market share. So your research person will be the controller of all the different parts of the organization. So if somebody is a consultant to HR, what type of individuals, you might be looking at the human resource component of your project, what type of individuals do we need to hire as leaders to increase the market share. So you really got to study the company in order to do that. Maybe another person's going to be talking about their internal environment, and another person talks about their external environment. Maybe one person is just focusing on diversity. Remember, this is a report that HR is going to get from the HR consultant. You got to have another person maybe researching benefits. Quality of life is really important to the internal and external environment. When do you start this project? You start it right away. You start researching right away. You get together with your teams. You pull some time together where you will start writing an outline to your project. And that would mean what person is going to do what piece, okay? You start doing a framework, you do an outline, and you follow that outline to the letter based on the person that's doing that. Then when you get it all together, you basically, after you do your research, you do a summary and conclusion based on your hypotheses. All right, what's a hypothesis? It's what you think your research is going to give you before you actually do your research. Say, for example, your hypothesis is, well, I think, and I'm not saying this will be the case, but you might say, I think that Sodexo can increase its market share by 15%. That's huge. But over what period of time? What makes you think that they will do that? Again, you haven't done your research yet, but you have to have some type of a strategic goal as to how you will align increasing their market share through human resources. Remember, the focus is on human resources only. I don't want you to go into marketing, production, and other areas. That's not necessary. Only human resources. So what we'll be focusing on leadership and the type of people that will be monitoring how this market share is going to happen. So again, we're focusing on the last two functions of the 4 principles of management. This isn't planning, this isn't organizing. This is leading and controlling. So leading and controlling in human resources and increasing market share through people. What type of people, what type of leaders do we need? What type of research do we need to do in the internal and external environments to promote this type of leadership? What type of people should we hire? That type of thing. So you have to understand. So get your teams together, figure how many times you're going to meet, start putting a draft together, an outline. And what I'm going to do is, which I've already done actually, is I created a link for Sodexo, and I am going to throw a blog inside of that link. Okay, so you can start working together and putting information. In your teams and set up, which I think you have autonomy to do, you could set up your own thread for the Sodexo team. I don't have to do that. All I did was create the groups for you. Okay, so look at the PowerPoints below, and we will put some time to talk about this in our next class. Okay, have a good night.